Hello, party people. Kirsten here, your decision coach for the episode. How you doing? We're starting a new series and I'm excited about it. Can you tell? We're going to actually do something a little differently than we normally do here. And we're going to give bite-sized information, bite-sized ideas, teen little things that if I can stop myself from going off too many tangents, you know me. I love an analogy and I love a story and I love a tangent. But if I can stop myself, these are hopefully going to be little nugget episodes that spark an idea and let you marinate on it. While I could probably make one episode entitled How to Be More Decisive, I'm actually going to give you several episodes. And I'm going to just encourage you to listen for what you need to hear today. Today's piece of wisdom around how to become more decisive starts with a story about my dad and his life mantra when it comes to saving money. His philosophy has always been you're never going to be a good saver unless you make the conscious decision to want the savings more than you want the thing that you want to spend money on right now. That's his bottom line philosophy. You gotta want the savings more than you want the thing. My organization brain takes this philosophy and translates it into physical spaces. I help a lot of people organize their spaces. Not a lot of people, but it's a thing that I do from time to time because it's very satisfying and stress relieving for me to like empty out someone's room and put it back in color coded order. And I love implementing a system. I used to do it at my mom's classroom because she's a teacher for 35 years. And I would just go as a child, like to her classroom and just organize the desks and organize everything. Not the kids' desk, my mom's desk. I wouldn't touch other people's property, but I love order. I love things to make sense. I love a system. So when working with someone informally, my mom, my friend, whatever, to organize a space, and they reach that moment when it's so hard to get rid of something, to give something up, to be like, sure, I don't want this anymore, even though my face looks like this. I borrow my dad's philosophy. You have to want your space more than you want this thing. Sometimes it's not always true. Sometimes it's just like it is with money, right? Sometimes you want the thing you're going to buy more. But if ultimately what you want is to accrue savings, more often than not, you have to want savings more than the thing you want to buy. If what you want ultimately is an organized space you feel good in, you got to want that more than all the things in the space, cluttering up the space, making you feel awful in the space. You don't really get both. Kirsten, you said this was going to be a super short episode. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I just love our little chats, you guys. Here's how this philosophy is going to translate into decision making. To be more decisive, you have to recognize the goal, the ultimate desire is to be more decisive, which means, who cares, right? We don't necessarily want to be more decisive because that's our life's dream. What we really want is to stop feeling like we waste our own time thinking and rethinking and remaking and questioning and revisiting and researching every single decision. We don't want to feel this sense of insecurity and uncertainty and unsureness about everything we're doing. We don't want to feel so tentative walking around being like, I guess this is right. I guess this is what I'm deciding. I don't know. We don't want to feel like we're outsourcing our confidence to other people, waiting for them to say, yes, your decision is right, or to the future, waiting for consequences to like play out how we want to finally feel like, okay, I made a good decision. It was 10 years ago and I've been holding my breath ever since then. But yeah, now it's a good decision. Ultimately, we also don't want to keep holding ourselves back from the shit we really want to do and experience and the people we really want to be because we know this decisive muscle isn't being worked enough. It's not strong enough. Nobody wants core strength. Like, who cares? But do I want to be able to enjoy the vacation to Europe where I'm going to need to walk around and handle a flight of stairs every other 20 minutes? Yeah, I want that. So it's worth working on my core. So if you are like, decisive, nah, take it or leave it. I don't care. But if what you want is to enjoy your vacation and have the stamina and the strength and the stability to walk around all day or day, it's worth working on your core strength, right? So if we want to stop wasting our own time and moving through the world with more conviction and confidence, it's worth working on our decisiveness. Perhaps I should have started there, but we got there. Don't worry. So this is what I want you to remember. This is what you want ultimately. which means you're going to adopt this new philosophy that more often than not always forever, but more often, 51% of the time, at least, we have to want the decision made more than we want the bad habit. I'm going to let you fill in the blank there. I want you to think about, what's the thing I default to wanting more? Is it the best option? Is it the absolute perfect best option that's vetted by hours and hours and hours of searching on Google and Yelp and Reddit or wherever you get your validation from? If that's where you're defaulting, then you're going to adopt the philosophy, 51% of the time minimum, I have to want the decision to be done more than I want the decision to be perfect. It's not going to feel nice. I get it. I hear you. I'm here for you. And I empathize that this is not a fun thing that we are going to try to do. Think of the goal. It's not fun to get rid of possession after possession after possession that you've been clinging on to and that you're used to and that you find valuable in and of themselves. But they've added up to this pile of a room that you can't use and enjoy. So I want you to remember, oh yeah, the goal is the room. I want to enjoy the room. I'm not going to miss this stuff when I'm enjoying the room because it's not full of stuff. I want you to remember, in these uncomfortable moments when you're going to want to spend 3 hours researching the best option, and you're going to say, nope, we aren't going to do that. We want the decision to be done more than we want it to be perfect. And you're going to feel not super great about it. I want you to remember, but look at the life this is going to mean for me. Look at what it's going to mean for me to be able to be a person who just makes a decision and doesn't have to break into a sweat when somebody suggests an option, because now I know, oh my God, it's going to take me 6 hours to even come up with an answer for this. And I don't have time for that. And I might make it wrong. And that's what's in store. That's your room. That's your beautiful clutter-free room. This life where you get to have more ease and freedom. You get to believe that that's who we are going to be. So it could be 51% of the time, I want the decision to be done more than I want the decision to be perfect. I want you to notice that that still leaves you 49% of the decisions that you get to make perfect, quote unquote. Okay. I don't feel like this is a big ask. I really want you to invite yourself to buy into this idea that you can still buy stuff if your goal is to have savings. I'm not saying stop spending money altogether. Same goes for the decisions. You still get to research the best options for some of the decisions. You don't have to give it up entirely. You're not going to want to as often. The less and less you do it, the more comfort you build with the decisions being done, not necessarily quote unquote perfect. But at the start, give yourself a little leeway to sometimes decide, yes, I want the best option more than I want it done right now. And then sometimes give yourself the option to decide, you know what, I just want it done. And yes, I still do want it to be perfect, but I want it to be done more than I want it to be perfect. Okay. Now, if perfect isn't your thing, I want you to find what your thing is. So if your thing is, I tend to default to, I want everyone to like my choices. I don't want to inconvenience anybody. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want to offend anybody. Then you're going to adopt the philosophy. I want 51% of the time my decisions to be done more than I want them to make other people happy. If you get caught up with your decisions needing to go the way you want them to, this is a big holdup in our decision-making process. Your philosophy might be 51% of the time, I'm going to want my decisions to be done more than I'm going to want them to be guaranteed. This is going to start letting you just be more aware of your habits, which is the only place habits can change, right? We have to start being more aware of what's coming up in the process. How are we actually moving through these experiences in the first place? So the more aware you are of when you're defaulting to, I think I want to do this, let me ask 9 people real quick. You're going to start paying more and more attention to that. And you're going to give yourself more and more agency to decide, is this one of the ones where I do want this decision to make other people happy or get other people's stamp of approval? Or is this one of the ones where I just want it done? And I want it done more than I want the stamp of approval. I want you to be really clear that you are not asking yourself to stop caring about what you have been programmed to care about up until today. Okay. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and decide, you know what? I don't care if any decisions are perfect. I don't care about anyone's opinions. That was yesterday me. That's not going to happen. So you're not saying, I don't care what anyone thinks and I'm just going to make this decision done. You're just putting it in perspective. You're remembering the room you want to end up with. You're remembering the savings you want to end up with. You're remembering the person you want to be and the habits you want to end up with. I hope this is enough to digest and marinate on and use this week. Fill in the blank. Decide your philosophy. This is one step, just one of many, many steps on the way to becoming more decisive, but it is a game changer. So I hope you run with it and you enjoy. Becoming more decisive is a glorious byproduct of working together when you work with a decision coach. Most people don't come to me just with this sole goal of I want to be more decisive. They have real things going on in their lives. They have habits they've identified that they really don't like, time wasty, mental clutter. I care too much what other people think. I'm not in touch enough with what I really think, kind of stuff. Sometimes it is. I really am overthinking and spending too much energy on decisions. And a lot of the time, there are real decisions in the mix they know they want to make and make confidently and make this century. So if I'm describing you in any of that, go to the link in the show notes. You can send me some questions or you can even set up a conversation so we can talk with our human faces about what would this actually mean for me in my life. I've worked with so many people who know they deserve to feel more clear-headed and less chaotic in their minds and more in charge of their life and their choices. And it's always worth it. So if it's time for you, let's do it. Click those links and come back next week for the next step in how to become more decisive. I'll see you then.
Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.